I still need to upload the other video I just recorded. I just gotta figure out the title for it. With that said, for the moment, the Centauri Carbon is still working. I was able to boot it up again and it didn't throw any errors. And with that said, I'm also getting the slightly smaller, I believe, plus variant of the Neptune 4. It's gonna go right here. So since I'm gonna be having a secondary printer, I can actually now kind of just do what I want with this thing. And I'm going to now do what I wanted to do initially with this thing when I first got it, and that is quiet down this stupid blower fan right here. Now, I guess I can outright disconnect it, but I don't really want to do that. I actually want to just spin it down to where it's not as audible, but it still blows air and whatnot. So to do that, I'm actually going to use a buck converter. The one I got's fairly low end when it comes to like power draw and whatnot, but it should be more than enough for this. And I've actually used these buck converters in the past. Do I actually have it with me? No, I do not. It's this little guy right here. So I'm just going to use this, and I think I'm going to turn the voltage down to like 12 volts or something like that. And that should spin the fan at like maybe 0.5% or 50% and whatnot. That way, so it's still blowing air, and it also is not going to be as noticeable. Now I know what's that YouTuber's name? Synthetic Electron. Yeah, I've obviously been watching his videos from time to time because they do get shown in my recommendations. I know he has a little PCB that can actually do what this does, but I want a little bit more finite control than what that little mod does. Especially considering sometimes I want to run the fans a little more faster than 50%, and with this, it allows me to do it. Now, I guess I'll need to remove this cover every single time I want to mess with this little pinchiometer, but let's be quite honest with ourselves, I don't think I'll be doing that often. So first things first, I gotta get the wire soldered in and get the voltages all situated. So I'll come back in a little bit. Alright, so here's how I have everything work. There's the buck converter. Spoiler alert, it needs to be moved. I just realized that that's a bad spot for it. But if I turn on the actual fan, there's a significant noise difference, and that's of course right here. But if I do this, it is very quiet. So I'm going to first relocate this somewhere and then come back again. So yeah, I'm going to fix that and come back. Alright, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but I actually drew 2 holes. The first one up here is wrong, but this one right here is is where it needs to be properly placed. So this is where I'm actually going to route the cabling for the potentiometer, and I'm going to put it more or less like right here. So that way, so if I want to work on it or retweak it, I can just literally pop the top off and then just put a screwdriver there and change the fan speed, while still keeping this area here more or less enclosed. And when it comes to this little hole right here, which again you can't see due to autofocus, I'm just going to heat it with hot glue, or I'm just going to tape it up with duct tape. So with that said, I'm going to now remount everything and come back. Alright, it's not optimal, but it's what I can make do with. So the board's just stuffed in there now. I made sure the wires aren't going to be completely pinched. I had the potentiometer right there, so I can easily get to it. And now all I need to do is just do one more double check to make sure everything's good. And then I gotta close this thing up and close it up. Alright, got it all back together again. Now to send off a print to this thing and fully properly tune the fan to the way I want. And then I guess be done with the video. Alright, and with that, I'm now done. I kicked the fan up quite a bit more than I initially thought I would. So it is still blowing cool air into it. And the reason why I'm wanting that is because, again, I'm printing off in PLA. If I was printing in other crazier filaments, I would not want it to be blowing cool air into the chamber and whatnot. But since I'm, again, printing in PLA, I want some type of cooling and whatnot. So with that said, I'm going to let this print for a little while and come back. Because what I want to do is I want to see what the temperature what the chamber temperature is going to be like towards the end. This is about a 3-hour print. And it's around 27°C, which I don't know what that is in freedom because, well, I'm an American, so I'll come back when it's near complete. Someone's probably going to ask, does that cable get in the way with the way I have it routed? The answer is no, it does not. It actually is quite a distance away from the actual sprocket. That is one of the things I made sure of when I was working with this thing. And when it comes to what I'm using to attach the potentiometer, I'm just using some Gorilla Super Glue. I don't know how long it will last, but it should last long enough. And I also super glued this thing right here so the LEDs stay put too. So generally speaking, I think we're good to go, at least until the cable starts acting up again. But when it comes to temps, currently right now it's hovering around 31, 32, which is fine. But then again, as you can see, it's nowhere near done. But again, I will come back when it's near complete. The print isn't done, but it's really close. And it's been hovering around 31 to 32 C, which is completely what I want. I did go in there and move the fan speed up just a little bit more, but it still doesn't really affect the actual overall noise floor and whatnot, because, well, it's still far more quieter than it used to be. So I think it's safe to say the mod I did does in fact work.